you see what I did there? I made a line, which isn't particularly unique or exciting. I mean, people have been making lines for thousands of years. Racial lines, religious lines, political lines, economic lines, property lines, parking lines, DMZ lines, DMV lines, and 10 items or less lines, to name a few. When you think about it, we have literally and figuratively filled our world with lines that divide us as people. So my goal was to create just one line that would bring us all together. That was my purpose, and what follows is my journey. So first I had to decide, all right, where is this line that's going to unite us be located? And I chose here, the gymnasium at Compton High School, specifically the free throw line. And you're probably thinking, all right, why Compton? Well, besides the fact that my son Chase had played basketball with some boys there from a young age, I saw Compton as an opportunity to get people to look past the 25 years of stereotypes and cliches and realize that folks from Compton are actually a whole lot like them. So one night, I went and I pled my case to the Compton School Board. I said I'd like to create a free throw competition for their students. The winner would receive a $40,000 college scholarship. Each of the runners-up would get a $1,000 college scholarship. You'd have to have a 3.0 to be eligible to participate. We'd have 8 finalists, and we would follow them for 2 weeks with cameras documenting their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations, all as part of a documentary film cleverly called Free Throw. So the members of the school board sat there, and they stared at me. And once they got over the sheer shock of what the hell this middle-aged white dude was doing in Compton, California on a Tuesday night, they actually stood up and applauded. And just like that, we were off and running. The problem is, if you took my little line and you turned it sideways, you see that on one side you had me and my purpose, and on the other side you had the fact that we were dealing with a public high school. We had minors involved. There was a cash prize at stake. We had parents who were wary of outsiders. For the film, we had no crew. We had no equipment. And in myself, we had a director with no clue. So on paper, that looks pretty lopsided, right? And it was, because, you see, my purpose was so much greater than any of these obstacles, they didn't stand a damn chance of getting in our way. Within 2 weeks, thank you. Within 2 weeks, we had a camera package, we had a crew, we had a stack of legal documents this big, and in Compton and Compton High School, we had a community and a school that really opened their arms and their hearts to us. And things were just going kind of fabulously well through our first week of shooting. And then something happened. I was with this boy, Donald Dotson, and his mom, and we were going to their church group they go to every week. And I'm in the back seat of the car, and I'm filming his mom, and I said, okay, Mrs. Dotson, tell me a story that kind of defines Donald as a person. And she thinks for a minute, and she says, you know, there was this one time where I bought Donald these new shoes, and it was kind of a big deal because we didn't have a lot of money. And I come the next day, and Donald doesn't have the shoes. So I said, Donald, you know, what happened to the shoes? And he doesn't answer. And so I ask again, Donald, where are the shoes? And he continues to be evasive. So she asks him a third time, Donald, I spent my money on these shoes. I want to know what happened to them. And he stops and he says, well, Mom, there was this boy at school, and all the other kids were making fun of him because his toes were sticking out the end of his shoes. So I gave him mine. I heard that story, and I realized I had lost sight of my purpose. I'd gotten so caught up in trying to make a movie that I forgot about what I was really there to do, was to create this line that was going to unite us as people. And I also realized that this couldn't be about one winner. This had to be about 8 winners. So at that point, I took my focus off directing, put it back on fundraising, and I spent pretty much every waking hour, and quite a few I should have been sleeping, essentially haranguing every person I had ever met to donate to this charity that had never accomplished anything and could not offer them a tax write-off. And you know what? They did. This photo was taken the night before our competition, and what you see there are donations in the form of personal checks extending from the free throw line to either side of the basketball court at Compton High School. So that on the actual day of the competition, we were able to surprise a few of the runners-up and a few other people by doing this.
Omar Guzman, you will not receive a $1,000 scholarship as promised. Instead, you will receive 1 year tuition paid at San Diego State University.
And we did the same for each of the runners-up, giving them a year tuition to the school where they had been accepted. And when I left the gymnasium that day, I walked outside and I ran into this news van. In fact, I ran into 3 of these news vans. And I thought to myself, wow, this has to be the first time in the history of Compton High School that the news has been here to cover something positive. And I won't lie, when I went to bed that night, I felt pretty good about me and my little line. What I didn't realize, though, is that somebody was about to take this line and extend it further than I could have ever imagined. Because the winner of our competition, Alan Guay, happened to be the one contestant we had who was a basketball player. In fact, he was a starting point guard of Compton High. And shortly after our competition ended, he received a full scholarship to play basketball at Cal State Northridge. Moments later, I got a call from Alan saying he'd like to take the $40,000 we had given him and in turn give it to the 7 runners-up. So all of a sudden, you had this kid from the place only ever known for drugs and gangs and violence becoming the embodiment of all the values we cherish most as Americans: selflessness, compassion, honor. And when the media got hold of this, they just went ape.
Sure, many out there are saying, why would an 18-year-old kid from Compton, California give away $40,000?
As a result of Alan's actions, this little line that started with 1 person ultimately touched an estimated 45 million lives. And the movie, still cleverly called Free Throw, was best described by one of our other contestants, Efren Ariano, who said, "In every good movie there is one winner, but in a great movie, everyone comes out victorious." And that's how I feel. I feel like everybody who was part of this project is better off for it. The kids from Compton, the community of Compton, the crew, the people who donated, and above all, myself. So, in closing, I'd just like to say that there's lots of wonderful speakers here today. I'm sure you'll soon forget me and my speech, but I hope you'll remember this line. And as you go about your own lives, making lines that divide you from other people, the way we kind of all do, I hope you'll take time out and create just one line that unites you with another human being. I guarantee you'll be glad you did. Thank you.